with the tagline, "The Future of Law Enforcement."
Just stop there. That's going on Instagram, that whole thing. That's a reel right there, the whole Jumanji. I love it. Welcome to social media.
Welcome to Born to Watch, where three old mates, an ex-video shop owner, an industry insider, and a black belt in 80s kung fu movies put their mastery to the test on movies that changed the world.
Hey there, fellow watchers, it's Whitey, and here's another episode of Born to Watch. I'm actually very excited to discuss tonight's movie with my two co-hosts, a movie that I found to be seriously more violent than what I remembered, and actually sets the director apart with a man with a vision on what he thought the world was going to be like. 1987 has become our most reviewed year with this movie. Now freeze, dead or alive, you're coming with me for Robocop. Let's meet the team. G-Man, how are you tonight?
Excellent. Thanks for having me. Great to be back. Super Bowl Monday. It's been a big day. Big day out there.
Yeah, I didn't watch 1 minute of it.
Really?
I was working. I was watching the score, but didn't watch any of the game. I'm going to watch the highlights tonight.
Real world.
Yeah, I know. It got me. It doesn't happen very often. Trust me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. What about you, Dan, up there on the land, looking very slick after a night of boxing?
Yeah, I'm rooted. It's bloody hot up here on the land. Just on the NFL, that's definitely become pretty popular amongst some of our mates.
It has.
What's you'd be a New York team of Giants or something like that, wouldn't you?
I do follow the Giants, Dan. Yep, but I did pick the Chiefs in today's match. I've been a big Pat Mahomes fan myself. Like him a lot.
I was kind of hoping the Eagles would win. I don't know why. Maybe because there's an Aussie in there.
Yeah.
Maybe Jordan Mailata playing. Yeah. I don't know, but
he's a huge man.
Yeah, I thought they had that down too. But
what about you, Dan? You all over it? You watch that today?
Nah, I'm not into it.
Yeah, no, it seemed that way by the text thread that we had going during the day.
I just like to wind up those knobs. But no, I've had another big week on the land. I mean, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to our new sponsor. The guys at Boiling Pot Brewery reached out to me and they said that sometimes I go on like a dribbler because I've had too much Pisola. So they've actually sent me their best behaviour ale, which is it's a mid-strength. Wow. So, yeah, first time I've tried that, but thanks, Boiling Pot. Still got a bit of fruit about it, so good taste. But, yeah, Boiling Pot Brewery, best behaviour. Don't know if I'll live up to that, but thank you very much. I also received written confirmation from the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences about my 2024 application for voting rights for the Academy Awards. So, long story short, I did not make the cut. Unfortunately,
again?
I was last man standing. So they fucking gave my spot to Clyde from Every Which Way But Loose and Every Which Way You Can. So, which I thought was a fair cop, but anyway, I missed out on that. I thought I'd try my hand at a new farm skill this week as well. So I thought I'd try my hand at blacksmithing. So I went down to Bunno's and I grabbed myself an anvil and a kiln and a forge. And I started off slowly. So I've just been making some metal blobs. They'd make good paperwork plates for giants. But I'm going to step it up a notch this week and I'm going to make myself a broadsword. So, yeah, I'll keep you posted.
For what? You pending attack up there, are you becoming a doomsdayer, Dan?
Yeah, well, you never know what's going on in this world, so it's always handy to have a broadsword lying around. And I fancy myself as that style of blacksmith. I'm not going to make any fucking horseshoes or any of that shit. It's going to be weapons all the way. So yeah.
Hey Morgs. How many burns?
Mate, you got a heap of hair on those arms, mate. A heap of hair.
It was more that was getting used to the anvil, which was harder. So I don't have many hits in me for before my noodles start to give away. So yeah, but yeah, good work on the land.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on from the doomsday prepper up there at Noosa.
New skills, Morgs.
This is it. Anvil. He didn't know what an anvil was before he went to Bunnings. Thought that looks like a new fad. I'm all over it. If you want to support the podcast and help the show grow, make sure you subscribe to us on your podcast platform of choice And please share it to all your friends. We're actually seeing a bit of love this week, so thank you very much to that. You can also find us on all the social networks, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, MySpace, Yahoo Messenger. Feel free to reach out and join our burgeoning community. As I just mentioned, after last week, we had quite a few listeners reach out. It actually makes us feel like we're making a difference in people's lives that aren't related to us by blood. We'll get to that feedback. I know Morgs is hanging by it. He really wants it. He wants the lick outs. He lives by them. Can't wait. And we'll get to them a little bit later on in the show. Look, I remember being blown away, pun intended, by Robocop as a kid. But I haven't seen this for, I reckon, at least 10 years. So, boys, when did we first see Robocop? Gow.
I did not see this at the movies, but I do remember it was 87.
Yes.
So we were year 7. So I remember Morgs quoting this movie over and over and over, and your move, creep.
Yeah,
and things like that.
It was a heavily quoted movie by us.
Very heavily quoted. And I remember Morgs right into it. So either at his place or your place, I'm going to wager. It was one of those.
Yeah.
But I definitely saw it a little while after it came out and just thinking, what is this movie he keeps talking about?
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, that's Gow's completely right. Year 7, but I didn't see it with you guys. I watched it with my neighbours. They were right into it as well.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so yeah. Phil and Dan, they were massively into this film, so I'd flick around over to their joint in the afternoons, and yeah, we watched it so many times. But like you guys, I haven't seen it for a long time, so it was very good to revisit it and just remember what all the fuss was. But yeah, some of those quotes, Gow, they just came flooding back to me. I did used to give this an absolute running in our normal day-to-day communicado.
I used to walk around saying, I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah.
And I always think to myself, what is that? What is that from? Like, till I finally saw it.
Yeah. And that's just him negotiating. You know, goes and buys a house. It's on the market for 1.2. He goes, I'll buy that for $1. It's called the low ball.
That was the Santa Cruz skateboard.
Look, I'm a bit the same here. Obviously, it was rated R, and even though I probably could have gotten in 1987 to an R-rated movie, I didn't.
Cole would have been no problem.
Absolutely, she would have given me the 450 for Hoyt's twin.
Mate, you're into Fatal Attraction in this year.
Yeah. Well, Fatal Attraction only rated M. This was R, so
right.
This was the next step up.
I think we've brought it up before, but did you see Basic Instinct at the movies?
Yes, I did see Basic Instinct at the movies.
Another Paul Verhoeven joint.
Yeah. And I tell you what, after watching this, God, he's got some tropes, old Paul. He really does. I really like him. He's a great director.
Yeah, very good. Done some good stuff. We'll get to him a bit later.
Absolutely.
Mad Dutchie.
Yeah, definitely. Big time. So, yeah, look, saw it later, loved it, watched it a lot as a teenager into my early 20s, but haven't seen this, I reckon, for 10 years, as I said. Going to set the over and unders at 20 on this one. I'll start with you, Dan. I think I know where you're going to be. What?
We're well over 20. It's been a while, but yeah, it would be a huge number. It'd be a Damo 4. That's how big it'd be.
Really? So what, you're looking at 50? Yeah. 50, 60?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What about you, G-Man?
Not nowhere near as many as that. I'd be around the 20 mark, somewhere around there, maybe a bit under 20.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched this for a long, long time. But we definitely gave it a few watches early on.
Yeah, we did. I'm going to say that I'd be under 50, probably around that 40 mark of this movie. Love it. And didn't realize how much I had missed it until watching it again. It's a really easy watch, really lean, enjoyable sort of hour 40. So it was good. So, Gow, why don't you tell us about Robocop?
With the tagline, "The Future of Law Enforcement," in a violent, near-apocalyptic Detroit, evil corporation Omni Consumer Products wins a contract from the city government to privatize the police force. To test their crime-eradicating cyborgs, the company leads street cop Alex Murphy into an armed confrontation with crime lord Clarence Bodica, so they can use his body to support their untested Robocop prototype. But when Robocop learns of the company's nefarious plans, he turns on his masters.
Okay, I've got some umbrage with this.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
They don't lead him in there. It's not a ploy to get him in there, and it only happens after the fact that they decide they're going to go with Robocop.
Yes. When he's clinically dead.
Yeah.
So that's on the DVD cover, and that's actually on IMDb as well. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's bad.
I was wondering what you might come up with for that.
That's not good.
No.
That's poor. Well done, Gow, though. I knew you knew. What do you think, Dan? Bullshit? Do you call bullshit on that one?
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know how that. Yeah, that's. It must have been a guy making some pretty good brass back in the day, writing DVD synopsis.
Yeah,
How do you do that?
I reckon that some people don't even see the movie.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe he went to a different version. Maybe there's a different version that came out.
yeah,
Who
interesting.
knows?
All right, well done. Critical thinking, and we'll talk about how the movie rates on IMDb. Robocop is a 7.6 out of 10. Pretty good. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 91% on the tomato meter and 84% audience score, which means the critics actually like this a little bit more than the public. Very well rated movie for what it is, for just a 80s actioner, really. Interesting to see what we think about it. Okay, so the best part, becoming one of the best parts of the podcast, it's going to be the Wayne Kerr Memorial review. And here's the good from Mark Salisbury from Time Out. Vile, violent, and very funny. The pace is breakneck, and when the wit does run out, way out weaponry and whole-scale destruction keep the appalled excitement burning. Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, we're going to go to our mate Wayne, Dave Kerr from the Chicago Reader. Robocop relies for most of its impact, and more disturbingly, for much of its comedy, on an absurd exaggeration of physical force. He's the pits, this guy.
That's what it's supposed to be.
He's the pits.
Yeah.
Dave Kerr. How did he get a gig?
Well, I will tell you what. Like some of those shooting scenes are full on, aren't they? Like
It's so
I
violent.
haven't
This
watched
movie.
it for so long.
It is so violent. So there's two versions. I'm sure we'll get to this, but there were two versions. There was the original version, and there's now the unrated version, which I think has become sort of like the Aliens, where the director's cut has become the version to watch. Now, there's a lot of scenes which were not in the original, which are in this version that I think. Did you watch this on Plex, Dan?
Yeah, Plex.
Yeah, well, that's the unrated version. And the whole bit where Murphy gets shot and his hand gets shot, they get shot in the head. There's a lot of extra footage in there. So
yeah, I watched it. I watched it on Prime, so I didn't get all of that.
I'm not sure you got the unrated, but also when the first guy gets shot in the boardroom, he gets shot about 50 times.
I know.
He just keeps shooting him.
Yeah.
Ed 209.
And do you know the best? After that is one of the executives goes,
15 seconds to comply.
Yeah.
one of the executives goes, somebody call a goddamn paramedic.
I'm like, mate, you needed him about 70 shots ago.
Mate, that guy's not coming back.
I got to say, though, it must have been one hell of a jacket that Murphy was wearing.
Mate, he took some shots.
Holy shit.
He took a lot of shots.
Yeah, he did. He did. Took more shots than Jenna Jameson in the 90s. Anyway, Gal, ordinary people. Why don't you tell us about the cast and crew?
All right, here we go. Peter Weller. Now, Peter Weller started off with a lot of stage and off-Broadway plays for the first part of his career, for a decent part of his career. And his film debut was in Butch and Sundance, the early days, in 1979. Then his next big movie was Shoot the Moon in 1984 with Diane Keaton and Karen Allen. And then he was in The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Yeah, have you seen that?
Oh, I can't remember if I've seen it.
Yeah, okay. I've tried to watch that just recently. It's on Plex Morgs. It is likened to Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
Okay.
It's that sort of style of movie. It's bad.
Here's the intro for it. I looked it up. Adventurer, brain surgeon, rock musician Buckaroo Banzai and his crime-fighting team, the Hong Kong Cavaliers, must stop evil alien invaders from the eighth dimension who are planning to conquer Earth.
It's really weird.
So yeah, because it's come up a few times. There's been a few people in this that we've crossed before.
I've got to say though, his resume is as deep and wide as Dan's.
Yeah.
Brain surgeon, rock star. It's got Dan Morgan written all over it.
Buckaroo
We've had
Banzai.
a few gigs with Peter Weller.
Fuckaroo Dan's eye.
But in Buckaroo Banzai, John Lithgow, Ellen Barkin, Jeff Goldblum, Christopher Lloyd.
It's a cracking cast.
Massive cast.
It's a bad movie. It really is.
But look, after that, into RoboCop in 1987. He was in Leviathan in 1989. RoboCop 2, 1990. And then, not a lot after that, he turned down RoboCop 3. He was filming another movie called Naked Lunch.
Yeah.
And then turned down RoboCop 3.
Well, that's a David Lynch film, Naked Lunch,
I think so,
is
yeah.
Is it David Lynch? It's very freaky.
But yeah, they're Contagion in 2000. And then he did a few episodes of different shows. He's in 24. He did a season of 24 in 2006. Did almost a season on Dexter as Stan Liddy in 2010, and a season on Sons of Anarchy as well. So
He's a bit of a jobber.
yeah. But look, I am, I like to do a bit of research on these people, and I sometimes unveil some really good facts, some really cool facts. And here's one I found on.
Is this one of those times, Gow?
This is one of those times.
Okay.
This is a gem of some trivia. One I found on IMDb about him. His nickname is Pete. That's an actual stat. That's an actual trivia stat on the site.
Pete Weller.
His nickname's Peter Weller. His nickname is Pete.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Another one. He's the biological father of Kate Linden, who's the manager at Development Management Group.
Right. Okay. He's all over it. And I've got to say, Naked Lunch is not Lynch. It's David Cronenberg.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Weird.
Yes, but anyway, you come across some crackers. I don't know why these get put up there, but anyway.
Wow.
But yeah, look, he was actually chosen in this because of his build, because they couldn't fit someone bigger
into the suit
because of the size of it, and then they had to put an air conditioning into that suit
Yeah.
because it was so hard to
He
wear.
lost a lot of weight.
He lost
day
like,
that he-
yeah,
yeah,
lost
3
like 3
pounds
pounds a
every-
day or
yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. But yeah, he was considered for another Paul Verhoeven movie in Basic Instinct. He was considered for Michael Douglas's role. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, which would have been interesting. I'm not sure how that plays out with him.
Doesn't.
But yeah, he turned down a role in King Kong Lives in '86 to star in this.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. So Nancy Allen. So she did a ton of TV commercials as a young kid at around 15 or so, and then her first movie was called The Last Detail in 1973 with Jack Nicholson.
That's Jack Nicholson, yeah.
Yep. And 3 years later, she starred as Chris Hargensen in Carrie.
She was a bit of a scream queen in the 80s, old Nancy Allen.
Yeah.
She starred in a few horrors, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. So, but she actually went for the role of Carrie, so that she could get the role of that. And then they put her into that role.
She got the bitch.
She got the bitch. Yeah. She was in Blowout in '81.
That's a great movie.
John
with
Travolta.
John Travolta. Excellent movie. That's Brian De Palma.
Yep. Robocop, obviously '87. Poltergeist 3 in '88. And then she was in Out of Sight in '88 too with George Clooney.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So getting back to that, she was in Brian De Palma did Carrie as well.
Yes.
But Sissy Spacek actually read for that role, and then he swapped them. He thought you two will be better off this way around.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Sissy Spacek? Any thoughts?
Not really. I haven't seen her. Not been around for a long time. And she was in The Coal Miner's Daughter. I saw that not long ago.
She had a massive career, but she just doesn't look like a movie star, really.
No.
Dan, thoughts on
She was
Sissy
pretty
Spacek?
good in Carrie.
What was that TV series she was in with Mendo recently? And the dude out of Friday Night Lights. Sit down in the Florida Keys. Up the Florida Keys. Bloodline?
Bloodline, yes. Great, great show, yeah.
She was good in that.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I look, she's not classically, I guess, a screen goddess like you were saying, but she's scary as fucking Carrie.
Yeah, no, she's a lunatic in Carrie. Who's next, G?
Well, Ronnie Cox. We've talked about Ronnie Cox before.
Yeah, we love him. He's a favourite of Born to Watch.
He is, actually.
Yeah,
he's got it dialed up to 15 in this one.
Yeah, he does.
As does everyone. Everyone's got going for it, but
he's essentially playing the same. He's playing his Total Recall character. Really?
Yes, exactly.
Cohagen.
Yeah. He's no Bogomil in this.
No, he's no Bogomil.
Doesn't have the depth of Bogomil.
The depth.
But obviously, early on, he was.
Is that fucking Foley in here?
We haven't had that. We haven't had that for a long time.
I'll tell you what, he would have done well as the police sergeant in this one too.
Oh, for
Actual
sure.
police captain, he would have been good.
Absolutely.
I'm
just got a little bit of ass there.
Don't fuck with me, Axel. Not now.
But Deliverance 72, Taps in 81 as Colonel Kirby. Beverly Hills Cop, obviously, as we said, in 84, and Beverly Hills Cop 2, 87. And the other major roles are Robocop and Total Recall, as we said. Another cracking stat about Ronnie Cox.
Do tell.
He's known to enjoy a good game of bridge.
Yeah, you're bringing the heat tonight.
Some people go to some depths to place these online. We'll keep going with Kurtwood Smith.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
everybody knows who Kurtwood Smith is as Red Foreman.
That
70
70s
show?
That 70s show,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, look, he's
So they've
been
just
around a long
redone
time.
that as that 90s show.
Yeah,
on
that's coming out.
Netflix.
That's
It's
coming
on-
out very
it's
soon.
on- It's on now.
Oh, it's on now, is
I'm
it?
pretty sure it's on now.
His first role was in a 1980 episode of the series Soap as Guy in Laundromat.
Excellent.
But yeah, he
Gotta
was in
start
Rambo
somewhere.
3. Yeah, he was in Robocop was his first big role. Rambo 3 in 88. Dead
He-
Poet Society 89.
Yeah, he's the dad. His
Yeah,
son commits
Mr. Perry.
suicide.
Yeah.
Fuckwit.
Star Trek 4 in 91. He's in Broken Arrow. Secretary of Defense Baird.
Oh, that broken arrow through my
96.
heart.
He was in A Time to Kill.
Ah,
He was Stump Sisson.
Stump Sisson. What a name.
Yeah, good name. Deep Impact in 98.
Oh, we spoke about
Oh, we
Deep
talked
Impact
about
last
it, yeah,
week.
talked about it last week, yeah.
Yeah. But he actually went for the role that Ronnie Cox got in this. He was after that role of Dick Jones. And,
Oh, really?
and when they said you're in the movie, he thought he got that role. And then they realized they put him in as the bad guy.
Ah, right.
That's what he auditioned for.
Yep.
An interesting little fact about him. You know when he goes into Dick Jones's office and he creeps out the
Oh, the secretary.
secretary and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing after this?"
God. Yeah.
That's actually his second wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's his wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. I'll tell you what, he's a fast healer.
Yeah.
God, he's got like vampire blood. He was the next day, he's been to the shit. 2 days later, he's back to normal.
Yeah, he was fine, wasn't he?
See my face?
What about how good his scarves were? He wore some good scarves.
I'm on the fence with Clarence Boddicker. I'm really on the fence with him.
I think
He could
all
go
of
either
them,
way.
Ronnie Cox's character, everyone is just so over the top. I mean, it's just they stylistically, I guess, Verhoeven knew exactly what he was after, and it was cartoonish. So these boys just went ham.
Yeah, it is over the top.
It's
great.
over the top. We won't go through any more of the cast. There's not really any reason to.
Oh, we got to go. Laura Palmer's dad. What's his
Wrapped
name?
in plastic.
He's in there.
You want to go?
Well, just because it's Laura Palmer's dad. What's his name?
What about the blood nut that
Ray
gets
Wise.
turned into the Toxic Avenger style at the end?
Yeah.
Paul McCrane.
Emil.
I like it. Yeah, he turned up with as a nude nut later on in ER and
Yeah, he's
couple
in
of
ER.
other,
Mate, he did like 10 years in ER or something like that.
Yeah.
He was in Fame. He was in Fame as well.
no,
A Damo favourite. Yeah, he's Montgomery.
But-
Very
I thought he was
shorts
in the
under or
movie.
I
over
thought
the
he was-
trackies.
Don't know.
I thought
Damo can
he
let
was
us know
Leroy.
on that.
Damo, let us
Fiend
know.
costs.
Let us know how Paul McCrane wore his pants in Fame, please. We need that. You didn't mention though. I got one I want to mention. Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, I was going to mention Miguel Ferrer.
So
but
George Clooney's cousin. And
Right.
he is a jobber, if there's ever been a jobber. And I love him in this movie. He's excellent as Bob Morton. Very, very good.
no, he's really good in the movie.
Yeah. Really
I
enjoyed him.
mainly know him from he did an episode of Will and Grace.
I'm sure you
Yeah, he was Nathan and Grace wanted to do some styling and he was the big catch, but he wanted to date Will.
Oh,
But Will didn't want to date him because he was an asshole.
really?
Yeah, mate.
Oh,
It was
Will's all about.
captivating. Funny episode.
Oh, it would have been. Sounds
Funny
amazing.
episode,
I'm going to
mate.
look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up and give it a wide berth.
Have
Okay,
you had
G,
to revisit Will and Grace lately, Gal, or is it off rotation for a while?
Oh, it's not on Fox at the moment. No, it is. It is. It bounces around. Sometimes it's on.
How far do you dig to find it?
I don't really. I just flick through. I only flick through and see what's on.
Yeah.
And just whatever's on, I watch the middle. I don't really watch Will and Grace anymore. Don't watch Friends anymore.
I rewatched Friends from start to finish about a year ago. Maybe through the pandemic, I rewatched Friends from start to finish.
Did you?
It was a grind at the end. A
Well,
real
I think
fucking grind.
I think we watched the last couple of seasons a few years ago, and that was it. And then I was like, "Oh, I'm done with that. I don't need to."
the
watch
minute
it
that
again."
Rachel bones Joey, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done now. You can't do it. Anyway, what about 87G and the box office and all the other stuff that you've got?
Well, first, I just want to quickly talk about Paul Verhoeven.
Oh, how could we not remember to talk about Paul Verhoeven?
I'm just going to give you. I know you guys will have some stuff on him, but I just want to give you a couple of things on him. That this is the movies he did. Robocop, and like obviously he had a career. He's Dutch.
He is.
He had a large career out of Hollywood before he came over, but just out of Hollywood movies. Robocop 87, Total Recall 1990, Basic Instinct 92, Showgirls 95, Starship Troopers 97,
One of the great movies.
Hollow Man 2000, and then the last one was Black Book.
Black Book is. Have you seen Black Book?
No.
It is freaking amazing.
Right.
Yeah. World War II movie. It is a quality movie. Stars the Carice Van Houten, who's the Red Witch
yes,
in
the Red Witch
Game
in
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
Possibly the best boobs in cinema.
Very good.
Yeah. Possibly. She's probably in the top 3.
She's married to Guy Pearce.
She's now married to Guy Pearce, yeah. He left his wife for her.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, one quick thing about...
I know a couple of reasons why.
Fair enough. A couple of quick things about him. He became the first nominee ever to actually show up at the Razzie Awards, and he personally accepted the Worst Director and Worst Picture Awards for Showgirls in '95.
What a boss.
Turn up, took his lumps. How good.
But what a run. That run that you just spoke about where you've got Robocop, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, forget Showgirls, then Starship Troopers, and then Hollow Man. And then Hollow Man, because that's 2000. Black Book's still 2006. That's a run.
Massive run. That's why I was just going through. That's a huge run in the early 90s.
There are some...
Is Hollow Man Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, yes. He becomes the Invisible Man.
Does he get his
Elizabeth Shue? He does. Yeah, this is in the cockasons of Kevin Bacon. Where it was in all his contracts. He had to get his wang out.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, no sweat.
Yeah.
All right. You want a quick stat on Paul Verhoeven?
Go for it.
Go.
This is research, right? This is online. He likes to drink Cola Light.
Any brand Cola Light?
Just says Cola Light.
Yeah, you got to stop this. I'm just the knowledge that I'm gleaning from you is next level.
Can you believe people put that up there?
It's like a Wikipedia page, isn't it? Paul Verhoeven is an amazing director. He's great. Love him. Has made some of my favorite movies of all time. Now, Gow, tell us about the gross and the budget and all the other shit that you go through.
All right, here we go. The overall gross was $54.12 million on a $13 million budget. Did $8 million on the opening weekend. So it ended up being the number 17 movie money-wise that year in 87. Now, we've been through 87
It's a stacked
before.
year, it's 87. It's a stacked year.
The Last Emperor got 9 nominations and won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Original Score. One Hollywood. Moonstruck had 3 wins as well. Broadcast News had 7 nominations. But Best Actor was Michael Douglas in Wall Street and obviously Cher in Moonstruck. And Sean Connery got the Best Supporting in Untouchables, and Olympia Dukakis was in Moonstruck.
No Academy Award nominations for Lost Boys. No Academy Award nominations for Predator. No Academy Award nominations for Lethal Weapon 87 or is that 88?
No, Lethal Weapon.
All the good movies, nothing.
I'm not sure, to go through what awards they may have been nominated for, but none of the major awards put it that way.
Of course.
So whether there's art direction or best stage or whatever, those things, I don't know. But look, we've been through this before. Number 1 was Whitey's favourite solo movie.
Fatal
Attraction, $320 million. Beverly Hills Cop 2, $276.5 million. Dirty Dancing, $213 million.
What?
Living Daylights at $191 and 3 Men and a Baby round out the top 5.
Time of my life.
It was very soulful.
No one ever felt like this before. When you're ready.
Are you finished? Speaking of...
And I owe it all to you.
Hey, baby.
Oh, dear. Now, I have some popular songs from that year, some other popular songs, right?
Oh, was there more songs released other than that one?
Oh, Kylie Minogue, Locomotion.
Oh, mate, I had a massive crush on Kylie Minogue.
Just a couple, because I'm gonna lead you to one and see if you can get it. It's been on here before, but we'll just see. Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi.
Well, yeah,
should have been the number 1 song of the year, but anyway, whatever.
Slippery
People don't know what they're talking about. Yep. Lean on Me. Starship, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Let them say you went crazy.
We talked about this from Manicure. What do they know?
Now, there was another song that came out that year we've had before, and I'm just gonna say this and see if you can get it.
Is that the only clue?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Hang on. Do it again.
I just died in your arms tonight. I couldn't recreate it again. Shouldn't have walked away.
Oh God.
Cutting crew. Was it cutting crew?
Yes, cutting crew.
Yeah. Amazing.
But yes, anyway, moving on. So yes, now we have covered 5 movies in 87.
Yeah, it's our
84.
number one reviewed year. And by some margin, I think the next best year's got 3. So yeah, 87's charging. And I could pick another 5. We could pick another 5. Easy.
There's heaps in there.
Yeah.
There's heaps in there.
All right. Well done, G-Man. We're going to move into question time. Okay, number 1. Is Murphy's death the most violent death of all time in an action film? Discuss. I was rocked. I remember that it was bad, but I was actually rocked watching it again.
He just gets an absolute pasting.
Yeah.
So does the first guy in the boardroom. But I was just watching it going, geez, that's a lot. That's a lot of shots.
Yeah.
And he's still going.
He gets shot like 70 times. He's not dead.
He still crawls away.
Yeah. He's even not dead when they...
He got one arm gone.
Yeah. That was full on.
Yeah.
Is it my Stanbush Cast credit song this week or yours?
No.
No, it's Gow's.
Oh, I did one too. And it was based on that death because I was just blown away by it. And my song is called Don't Need Hands to Hold You. And I've gone back to a power ballad because I've been stuck in the same melody for a while. Don't need hands to hold you.
I am more than happy to take 2 kick-ass credit songs.
Yeah, sorry, Gal. You can go first because yours will be Bernie Taupin. Mine's
called Don't Feel Bad. Don't Feel Sad.
Don't feel sad.
One of those.
Cryptic.
Don't feel bad or sad.
Neither. Don't feel nothing.
Yeah. So I can't remember a death on film that rocked me as much as that.
Well, the only one that rocked me more was Ed 209's first kill of the executive in the boardroom.
Yeah, that was full on.
Both of those, I think, are 1 and 2 for ultra violence. It was, it was incredible.
I don't want to think of it, but Tom Berenger in Platoon, but that was more because it wasn't as violent, but it was more.
Oh, doing Charlie.
Oh no, you mean Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe. Sorry, Willem Dafoe. Yeah.
But you don't see much there.
No,
like,
it's not as graphic.
You are front row center.
Yeah.
For one of the great movie deaths in history. And
Willem
we've actually
Dafoe
got...
He was who I was trying to think of the other week who's got a really big dick.
Yeah, he does. And apparently when him and Madonna made that movie, they actually had sex.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was up for it. Have you seen Madonna lately?
Yeah.
Madonna was up for it, really?
The same thing. Let it go, Madonna.
Jesus Christ. You know what Madonna's starting to look like? Madonna's starting to look like the Fat Storm from... Big Trouble in Little China when he's blown himself up. Yes.
Yeah, it's sad.
Okay, so extreme satire in this movie. How close are we to having a company like OCP rule the world? It's quite frightening. Is it starting already?
Oh, of course. No,
Yeah.
I think he was quite prescient in predicting a lot of this shit going on. But even if you look at Mayor of Kingstown, another more modern movie that we're looking at, where you've got private firms moving into the prison space and providing those services. I think the fact that capitalism is impacting on what were social services and the fact that there are towns where the police force is private and certainly other services going. No, I think that prompted Film School for Efforts this week. Basically, this particular film, I know on my first viewing, I wasn't really thinking about the how evil capitalism was and the rest of the satire that permeates it. But Film School for Efforts is all about films with hidden meaning that you may have missed in the first 40 or so viewings that only come when you reach a certain age.
Is Bloodsport in that list that you've got?
Bloodsport is not in that list.
Okay, all right. Just thought I'd check.
Fairly by the numbers.
Yep.
I want to know how Bogomil gets into be in the directive. How does he get that one through?
Well, he's number 2. He's the boss. But it's interesting that he's able to have it hidden, have it be a hidden directive. It's a stretch. Yeah.
And then as soon as the other guy says you're fired,
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
So Robocop can just process all of this.
He can. He's the master.
Yeah.
He's the master. Okay, look, this film is set in 1997, along with other great futuristic thrillers like T2 and Predator 2. Probably a bit soon, 10 years, to be assuming there's going to be, could have been 2007 or 2017. Seems to be probably a bit close in 10 years. Thoughts?
We've talked about this before. The Jetsons have a lot to answer for. Like the world just hasn't gone on the future span that we thought it was. Prince wanted a party like it's 1999. I mean, 1999 parties were shit.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, they were.
So
Morgan, how can you say that, Morgs? We were travelling. We were out partying together all the time. I remember.
We're on the banks of the Thames in 1999 for the millennial, waiting for the Y2K bug to fuck the world. That was a bit of a hoax. Yeah.
What was that pub we used to go to where they used to give us 2 for 1 Aussie beers? Outback or
Whitey's got a name for it, like the pheasant and nuts or something like. You always take the piss.
I used to say the dog and bollocks.
That's it, the dog and bollocks.
Dog and bollocks.
But yeah, we were ensconced in the UK back in the late 90s, and I guess it was pretty fun back in. Yeah, Prince was onto it. Sorry, I take that back.
Okay, so we could talk about your travels forever, but we'll get to something else you prefer to talk about, and maybe that's the lickouts. Now, we've had.
Should we have a travel pod?
You guys go for it. You guys go for it. Right. Right. Unbelievable. That's what this is, isn't it? Just masquerading as a movie podcast, but it's really about two best mates just traveling around the world, getting into adventures. You're like Cain and Abel from Kung Fu.
Yeah, we are.
Right, yeah.
Kung Fu.
Right. We do have a couple messages from some listeners and a couple who have never messaged before, which is great. So we've got our first one from Matt Beer Geek, through Instagram. So it says, "Hey mates, I've only just stumbled across your podcast, and I've got to say it's an absolute ripper. I laugh my balls off when I'm driving around listening to this. As a massive movie lover, you have brought back so many memories of these 80s and 90s classics. Anyway, bloody love it. Thank you and keep up the good work." Legend. Matty, welcome to the team.
Good on you, Beer Geek.
And mate, you sent through a plethora of movies, and we'll get to some of them in the future. Remember, guys, reach out. We're happy to take requests if we feel like it. We can't promise anything. Anyway, another one, Strangles, who we have spoken to a bit in the past before we get to our other one. This is after Raiders of the Lost Ark pod. Great episode, chaps, and a great movie. I reckon this did not stop playing in my house for 2 years. For 2 years straight, so over 42 for me. First one overs, though. Thanks again to Dan for bending my mind as I watched The Machinist. How Bale didn't die on that diet is beyond me. Really enjoy how it played out and then the reason for his state of mind, body during the story. Also watched The Menu on the plane back from Perth to Auckland. Not sure what I think about it yet. By the way, waiting for the I am a born to watch fuckwit t-shirt still. Don't worry, mate. That design is coming. A bit more concerned about your love affair with Dan on land.
Yeah, good work, Strangles. You've picked the right person to get behind on this podcast, and I'll keep serving you the good stuff. But yeah, Machinist, definitely worth a look. I've got a couple for you later on too. And if you like this, watch this.
I've also got one from an old a mate. Well, I'll call him a mate because he's a mate. A guy that I met in Avalon when I had the video shop.
Phelpsy.
Tom.
Is it Phelpsy?
No, it wasn't. It's not Phelpsy.
Come on, Phelpsy.
Come on, Phelpsy.
But he reached out. I thought. I thought that our only fan in Unzud was Strangles, and he's an Aussie, so he doesn't count. But did sit Tom reached out, so he's loving listening to us. He's having a lot of fun. It takes him back to when we used to chat in the video shop, and I used to bag him out about his terrible accent. But keep listening, Tom. He's now a father with 2 kids, so he's got plenty of time to be listening to A Born to Watch.
Good on you, Tommy.
Yeah, he's a good fella. Okay, so into the categories. The good, the bad, Let's start with you, G-Man. For good, what do you got, mate?
Boddica's neck scarf. It's a cracker. It reminded me of the one that the Chief wears in Mad Max, but he ran it with no shirt.
Yeah.
And the
Labatouche.
And
Is it Labatouche? Yeah, Labatouche.
But Bodica didn't wear it like that. But he still got it. I was like, you're supposed to be this badass crime lord, and you're running a scarf. He actually ran a couple. When he kills Morton, he comes in. He's wearing a black shirt with the collar up and a purpley pink tie on.
Yeah,
it's a tuck out tie for sure.
for sure.
But yeah, like he runs some really good fashion, but he has those big necktie. I really liked it. The other one was the gas station scene where Emil blows him up, and he's like, "We killed you, we killed you."
That is good.
And then he walks out of that's so iconic when you see the whole station blow up.
Yeah.
And the best bit is the guy behind the counter, when he sees it's going to blow up, he grabs his books.
He grabs his books.
He grabs his books before he runs.
He's a pure nerd. He's a pure nerd.
But yeah, that to me is so iconic of this whole movie. Like, it's just something that always stood out to me when I was young. That like that's the big scene. And when it cuts back and you see it all blow, and he's just walking out.
You can't fake that. Like, they've filmed that. I don't know how they've done that, because there's whether it's a robot, but it's not, because it was an actor in it the whole time in the suit. But he's in the explosion. I don't know if it's been.
Well, it walks out. Yeah, I don't know how they
incredible.
do it, but it looks amazing. And I was thinking that is just a highlight. I mean, there's some violence in this movie,
Absolutely.
but that was
it's good.
That was a cracker of a scene to me.
Great scene. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. What about you, Dan, up there? What do you got?
A couple for me. Peter Weller, I thought his performance was, especially on the review, quite amazing. So just the way he was able to capture the movements of how he thought a robot would walk, and also how he's able to convey emotion just with his mouth, essentially. Because if you think about before he gets the Robocop mask shot off, we literally just see his lips throughout, and still you're able to feel what he's feeling at the time. And I just think he did a great job. He's got a bit of a head too, so he did very well. And then the other thing was just the style of the film. When I went back to this, it just straight away, you could Paul Verhoeven's got such a unique style, and you could see Total Recall and you could see Starship Troopers in this
100%.
film, even though it was arguably a B movie, in the fact that it was $13 million budget, which is ample. And they certainly didn't use a lot of it in the CGI, but they were mostly practical stunts and practical effects throughout the movie. But yeah, you could just really pick up his vision as a director that was very evident in Total Recall and Starship Troopers, which I really liked. So the Mad Duchy was definitely onto it. And in these Western films, or Western American films, he didn't have a penchant for pubes and boobs like he does in his other films, which the man
loves them. He loves them.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a shame. But
he's actually got a T-shirt. It's called Pubes and Boobs. That could be another Born to Watch shirt. Pubes and boobs.
They write them. They write themselves. So.
They do. Don't
yeah,
they?
That's it.
There's a couple other ones he used where we're showing his family, and then it pulls away from the camera really quickly, like fast forward. Yeah. It reminded me of Mad Max a lot. Yeah, it does that same sort of cinematography.
Yeah,
it was really he does that. It's very individual, not something you see very often.
So you mentioned it reminded you of Starship Troopers and Total Recall, Dan, and I'm going to say that I really loved the use of the television in this movie. How it was exposition, but it set the scene about what kind of world we're living in. Every time there was a news flash or something, it was something so out there that just said, this place is fucked.
Yes.
Right? They're living in, like, it's the arse end of the earth. The earth is gone. Like, there's nothing that resembles what we're living in today. And he does that.
Near apocalypse, and that's the opening scene. Like, if you think back, like, it's literally got nothing to do with the movie. It's sorry, as far as it doesn't drop you into whatever.
No, it just sets the scene. It just sets the scene. Yeah,
it is. It's
so clever, and he did that. He did that in Total Recall with all the ads for Recall and all the ads for Mars. He did that in Starship Troopers with all the stuff about join the academy and join whatever they are. Yeah, exactly. And he's so clever at using that. So I guess it's almost sort of breaking that fourth wall a bit, where it takes you out of the movie and into the actual into the world, which is really real clever.
Yeah, good call.
I love the point of view, and like what you're saying, I love the Robocop point of view, And I love how it's like that old VHS sort of
Yes.
look. I thought that was really cool, really well done. Again, another action film which is really lean and mean, like no bullshit. And this was the extended uncut version that I watched that Dan watched as well. And there's every scene's got a purpose. There's no wasted time. It's really clever that way. And it would have been very easy to extend scenes. I say there's some scenes that I would like to have seen more, but what you get is enough. And obviously the violence is like super over the top. I'll back you up on Peter Weller, but I actually think he's way better as Robocop than he is as Murphy. Like I reckon he's way more emotive as Robocop, especially when he takes his helmet off. Like, again, like that's Rob Bottin, the guy that was the special effects supervisor on The Thing.
Yes.
Did this. That is flawless, that suit, when he takes
it's amazing, isn't it?
Fucking huge screws out of the side of his head.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. But they've only used his face and part of his brain, right?
Well, that's it.
Supposedly.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. So, but I think he's great. He's great as Robocop, and I think he's not as good as Murphy, but very, very good when he's Robocop.
No, but they start to humanize him as he remembers more. They start to humanize him a bit again, and they do that really, really well.
Yeah, and I love it.
Bring him back to a human.
I love it at the end. Right? What's your name, son? Murphy. Yeah, very good. Okay, bad. Start with you, Dan, up there on the land. What do you got?
Yeah, just one that I thought was particularly poor. It's the point of a U shot where we were watching what Robocop was watching as he was getting his final touches. And you see one of the scientists is working on Robocop and he's using a drill. And if you look closely, that's definitely a wooden bit. It's not a masonry bit. You just you would not use that on a robot. I mean, from the land, I'm in my workshop a lot, and I just, no one with any handy skills would do that. It was appallingly bad. And the second bad was Ed 209, hasn't aged very well. I thought when he was stationary and you have 15 seconds to complete, it was fine.
Yep.
That was great. But the moment they did the stop motion graphics with him, it's just aged it so badly. And the rest of the film with all the practical effects hasn't aged as badly.
No, not at all.
It was that was a real shame. Unfortunately, it's almost like you'd like to give Verhoeven another go at it to bring it up to speed because it was super.
What about the noises, the animalistic noises when it falls down?
Yeah.
But when he's falling down, he's squealing and stuff. You sound like the pig out of Razorback.
It did.
Yeah.
Great flick.
Yeah, great flick.
I had that as well. That CGI. I mean, you're right. The start of it was fine, and you're thinking, it was pretty, badass machine, and then that CGI just ruined it.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the dogs or the wolves out of Ghostbusters. Like where it's a bit clunky and it doesn't quite.
But even that was, I think it was even worse than, and it was 4 years on from then.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was, but it just reminded me of that because it just looks out of place in the whole movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I had. And also the other one we already covered was somebody call a goddamn paramedic.
Yeah, that was
because it was just not needed.
That was not good. Call an ambulance. Call a meat wagon in the Mad Max talk. Okay, Murphy's shirt when he turns up to the precinct is heinous. It's like a black. It's too big for him. It's got some sort of fluoro pattern on it. It's just a shit shirt. Something that Anthony Mean would have worn in the early 90s. And the doctors, when Robocop is having his nightmare and they're sitting 2 meters away from him and he's having a fit and there's stuff coming up on the screen and the heart rate monitor's going, the brain monitor's going, all this kind of stuff. And Bodica's face is coming up on the screen. I'm like, fuck guys, wake up. This is your job. Like they're giving you stuff.
It's so bad. And they're eating the hamburgers. Yeah, it's just like, and they can't even notice he's in the background.
No, it's pathetic. That's it I've got for bad. I do have a couple things for anyone got anything for ugly?
All I had, and we've spoken about it a bit, but that first kill in the boardroom, if it has been embellished in the director's cut, which you and I watched, it is so violent. Yeah. Like it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So I guess that was he was trying to make it cartoonish so that it fit with the rest of the theme of the film. But God, it was definitely way over the top.
Yeah,
I had all the people, all the executives. There's about 25 of them in the room.
Yeah.
Good.
Most of them are like 25 and 30. They look like,
Yeah.
like there's the old man, and then there's the rest of them are young. I'm like,
Yeah.
what sort of a company is this?
Yeah, a shit
And there
one.
was tons of them.
A shit one.
Yeah.
How good's their logo though? OCP.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Good
clever.
logo. Really clever.
Yeah, OCP.
Yeah.
You know me.
Well done, G. Look, I've got the boardroom death is hardcore. I've also got Murphy. Murphy's death is fucking super hardcore. And the screws that come out of his head are like 5 inches long. Yeah, that was pretty brutal when he screws them out. I was like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I thought his whole head was going to fall off.
Yeah.
The back of his head was coming off.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was good, though. Okay, that's good. So, Morgs, what about Quickfire?
Yes, F-Wits, let's get into what is fast becoming the number 4 favourite part of this podcast. Here we go, Quickfire. So first up, it's That's Not a Knife, for a scene that is passed over into popular culture, a la Mick Dundee out of Crocodile Dundee and the seminal That's Not a Knife. Anything out of Robocop that you think is really passed over?
Bitches leave.
I think that's probably just us. I don't know that many people are quoting that in everyday life. Gow, anything that I know, I used to just bomb you with quotes from this movie, but I don't know that the mainstream population is really has embraced Robocop perhaps as much as us.
No, but I think also too, because you used to say like your move, creep, and dead or alive, you're coming with
Does
me.
it hurt? I used to say that all the time.
all the time.
Does it hurt?
But that's
so-
but that also because that video game was really popular back then too, and all of those were in it, and all of us that played those video games, if you had Robocop online, all those sayings were in it.
Yeah, for sure.
They were always around.
It kind of helped
no,
the
I
video
don't-
game that, well as very real clunky Robot Walk, because it fit the graphics of the time.
Yes,
Robocop.
yes.
So he moved exactly like Robocop did in the movie, which was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no, look, I probably not an equal to That's Not a Knife in this film. Philip Stuckey, Jason Alexander, out of our favourite Call Girl with a Heart of Gold film for the biggest douchebag in the film. I mean, look, everyone is just dialing it up to 16 out of 10 as far as ham-fisted acting in this one to make it super comical. But anyone that really stood out as a particularly poor, evil douchebaggery?
Bob Morton's a bit of a dick, isn't he?
Massive dick.
Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah.
And when he goes, like the guy that he goes up in the lift with gets mauled by 1,000 bullets, and he's just like, stiff shit.
What about Clarence Boddicker when his mate gets shot in the van? He's like, "Can you fly, Bobby?" Yeah. He just throws him out. I was like, "That's pretty bad." Yeah, that's
he's
pretty
pretty evil, Clarence. But look,
anyone in the gang that
everyone in the gang's pretty bad.
Yeah, the African American guy in the gang's a pain in the ass.
Joe Cox.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Cast a Caddyshack for actors in the film that think they're in a completely different film to everyone else, a la the entire cast of Caddyshack. I don't know. Everyone seems to get the tone of this.
No,
this film.
I think there's no one. I think that they're all on point for what they're looking at.
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven's he knows exactly what he wants out of everyone. I think he gets it. So yeah, well played. Crazy Dutchie. Ripley running a la Sigourney Weaver in the Aliens franchise for a particularly poor form of athletic prowess, a la Ripley running in Aliens. I don't think so. No one really.
I got one though. It's harsh though, like Toxic Man when he's trying to get away. Toxic Man. Hurt me.
Not long after the Toxic Avenger films, which we all liked as well. Like it was nuclear waste, toxic waste was a bit of a trope in these near apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic movies. So yeah, it was good to see his fingers hanging off and his lips going
full on.
Yeah,
he turns pretty quick, doesn't he?
He does.
It must have been some serious shit.
He turns pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'll say that Lewis she doesn't bounce back well from falling down onto the cardboard boxes.
Oh, Nancy
she
Allen
falls asleep.
Yeah,
she takes a while to get up, and then she stumbles back. And there's not much she can do by that stage, but maybe if she doesn't have to do a double take early on, then he doesn't become Robocop.
Yeah, exactly. The wang.
She
looked at the wang.
She had a double take.
She had a look at the wang.
And Joe Cox.
Well, that's the biggest
Look at
dick.
him.
That's the biggest dick in the movie. Oh, Joe Cox's wang.
There you go.
Well played, Joe
And
Cox.
Lewis couldn't get enough of it. Should have just shot him. I'll tell you what, she's a pretty shit cop because, like, she gets hammered there and then she just turns up in the car and Boddicker just shoots her 7 times. She doesn't even get a chance to get a gun out once.
Mate, everyone can take a bullet, though, in this film. Like, you're not...
Mate, they just get
yeah.
shot after shot after shot.
Yeah. It's
She does
pretty
take down the
impressive.
bloke in the precinct early, though. She belts the hell out of him.
She does shoot Laura Palmer's dad as well with the big
Yep.
fuck-off gun.
Yeah.
Do you remember the short hair being so de rigueur in 1987 for the ladies? I don't know, because if you think about old mates, the hookers that turn up where he has about 17 kilos of cocaine off their breasticles, they're both short haired as well. And Nancy Allen's short hair. I don't know. Was it
With
was
no
it a thing
remnants.
back in the
Did
day?
you know that there was no remnants on his face after he'd gone into the coke cleavage? It's like he like I could understand if your schnooter went in there, right, and to go straight up, there'd be nothing to waste. But he doesn't have a down on the land schnooter, and so I'd expect him to be some residue over the face. He's clean as a whistle.
I thought
was
the
expert.
mad,
He was
the
expert.
mad Dutchie Paul Verhoeven would have got that a bit closer to reality in those scenes. But yeah, we're getting a bit off topic now. We better bring it back. Robot Sentries, again from the film Aliens director's cut, for a scene that we'd like to see a little bit more of for Robocop. It's lean. It's pretty tight, this film.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of piss farting around. I don't know I needed to find anything else out. I think
Yeah.
they were able to get everything across pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the only thing, the end mill fight is it all happens pretty quick. Like he kills 2 or 3 of them straight away,
Yeah.
and then it just becomes the body car. That all happens really fast, but I don't think you need any more than that. Like we get Toxic Guy, we get Leland Palmer getting blown to the shit house, we get the body car gets stabbed in the throat, which is amazing. A heap of blood. Holy shit!
It's a good stabbing, that one.
Good stabbing.
Yeah.
I think the only thing for me was they didn't really do much in the way of the family. They had a couple of quick flashbacks to the house, and that was really about it. You didn't really learn much about the wife and the kid aren't in the movie. They're not even at the hospital when he's at the hospital.
Why is everything burnt in the house? Like he's looking through but there's burnt newspapers and stuff on the bench. The house is for sale. I just what the
it's not
fuck is going on there?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It was all very mixed, and she's got a couple of lines, and that's it.
There could have been a funeral, and we could have said goodbye to the family, but you don't need to. It doesn't matter.
Really, but they weren't even at the hospital, so they didn't really explore that very much
Doesn't
and put
matter.
much on the family. They kind of just stuck with he's now turning into Robocop.
Yeah, agreed.
I would have enjoyed a bit more of his wife in the POV scene when she was. It felt like that was going to get pretty kinky pretty quick. So I was.
Verhoeven. That's probably Verhoeven's personal.
Yeah,
stuff.
if he
Straight into the
this is-
Verhoeven wank bank.
He may have filmed that and it didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
the European
She's-
release had pubes and boobs for sure.
Yeah, for sure. She's like, but I got cut out of the film. He goes, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Nice. Last but not least, Whitey's Brad Pitt for an actor or actors in the film that you would like to have a lie down with in special adult time. I don't know. They're all pretty fugly in this film.
No, I got one.
Yeah.
So the doctor that kisses him when it's New Year's Eve, she's got the
Oh,
glasses.
with the big glasses, the big glasses.
She's a good sort. She's a
Okay.
sneaky good sort. She's all thatter, right? I reckon, dollar up a bit. And I reckon that she's a great sort.
What were the two chicks like?
4 pounds none the richer. So kiss me. She's got that. Is that the film? She's all that.
She's
I don't know.
she's all that's Amanda Bynes.
Sixpence none the richer.
Sixpence none the wiser.
So kiss me.
Oh, stop it.
What were the two prostitutes or the two girls in his?
Yeah,
The one on the
I don't
left,
know.
the
They all right? I
brunette's
can't
not bad.
remember.
The brunette's not bad.
It
The
doesn't
one
feel
that-
like
she's
anyone
got-
was rooting in 1987. Like I don't know, they're all a bit.
Which
on
is
the
odd
nose.
because Verhoeven would have been all over it. You can
Yeah.
imagine it's like a mass orgy back a house for old PV. Anyway,
For sure. All right, that's it. Quick fire. Well done, boys. Not so quick this week, but we'll tighten it up next week. Well done.
it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Okay.
What is that?
So we're going to move into Gow's wheelhouse here with a listen to this, and you're going to start us off, Gow?
Yet again, we've covered quite a few of them. I'll give you a quick one. Peter Weller and Nancy Allen were both born on June 24th, although 3 years apart. She's 3 years younger than him. He was born in 47. She was born in 1950.
Okay.
Interesting little stat.
Yeah. God, I tell you what, Gow, you're bringing some actual trivia today.
Actual trivia. None of them like Cola Light though.
Right,
So
okay. That's
there's-
only
there's
Paul
that.
Verhoeven.
Yeah, it's only he's the only one.
Yeah. Okay, I got one here. In Sacramento, in California, a bank robber fled into a darkened movie theater that Robocop was playing at and got so engrossed in the movie he sat down and didn't realize that the police had evacuated the whole cinema and arrested him.
That's a good flick.
Oh, my
nice.
God.
Nice work, buddy. You are the top of your food
He's
chain.
top of the tree. Top of the tree. Anything else, Gow?
What else have I got here? Oh, the trauma team that were portrayed in the movie trying to save Murphy were actually a real hospital trauma team.
Yep.
That they ad-libbed all of that dialogue in that scene.
Yep. So what about that Paul Verhoeven, being the master that he is, he realized that the film was behind schedule and over budget. So they actually didn't film the Murphy death scene.
Yes.
So they went back, they finished, they wrapped, and they went back to the studio and said, here's the movie, watch it. They were like, holy shit, we love what you're doing. He goes, well, we're missing this scene. So they gave him more money to go and film the Murphy death scene after the fact.
Well, no wonder it was so over the top. He's probably got heaps of we've got so much to spend.
Yeah.
Everyone's making some cash on this scene.
Absolutely. So pretty cool. Like ballsy move.
Yeah.
Pretty ballsy move, Bob.
Pretty ballsy, Bob.
So what about the Robocop suit? Is the most expensive thing on the set, worth between $500,000 to $1 million.
Oh, wow.
The suit itself.
Yeah. Well, they put air conditioning in it because it was so heavy,
Yeah.
and he couldn't actually get in the car with it.
No, he had to just wear it.
So he wore his undies or just shorts.
Yeah.
In the car, and then they had to show his boots getting out of it to portray that he's getting in and out of the car.
Yeah. And I got something on the suit here, somewhere in the back of my memory banks here. So when he's in the drug bust scene where Bodica's in with the Italian guy and he's sticks his finger in the wine and sticks it in his nostrils, which I don't know why he did that. But anyway, that was odd.
Don't think that was scripted.
No, I don't think it was. That was all Bodica.
Yeah.
But he is walking through shooting these people, listening to Peter Gabriel's song "Red Rain" on a Walkman in the helmet.
Yeah,
with not being able to hear anything else other than the music and just shooting the people. So, yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, modern movie making. So I got one last one. So this film was submitted 12 times to the MPAA to finally get an R rating. So imagine what the uncensored version was like.
Yeah, imagine what's on the cutting room floor here,
or in Verhoeven's
special
wank bank. Okay, I struggled really hard to find a 1 degree of Kurt Russell, but I do have a very loose 1 degree of Quigley Down Under.
Nice.
Hit us.
I like Quigley Down Under better anyway.
Miguel Ferrer
Yeah.
starred in an episode of Magnum PI.
Oh, well,
Tom
there you
Selleck.
go. There you go.
It's 1.5, isn't it?
It is. So
One
he
and a half.
wasn't in Quigley, but he was with Quigley himself. Okay, so a notable quotables, and there's a few here, but I reckon we just stick to the main ones. Gow?
We've said
Yeah,
every
we've
single
covered
one
them.
of them that I have down here.
I've got one,
Yep.
and it's after Robocop stabs Bodica at the end there, and Lewis has been shot 1,000 times, and he's like, Lewis, and she's like, Murphy, I'm a mess, and he goes, they'll fix you. They fix everything. I said that was cool.
The only other one we missed was with the reporter to Robocop going, Robo, any special message for all the kids watching at home? Stay out of trouble.
Yeah. He's a bit Terminator-ish, isn't
He's
he?
very,
the
very Terminator. But
we're sort of-
everyone, Your Move Creep, Dead or Alive, Can You Fly, Bobby? We've hit all of these.
I'll buy
already.
that for $1. Bitches
I'll buy-
leave.
yeah,
There-
yeah,
There's
Bitches
some
Leave.
quality in there. All right, moving into one of our best segments of the podcast. Film school for F-wits.
Yes, fellow F-wits, definitely in the top 7 segments on this podcast. Film school for all of us F-wits. But this week I thought I would look at films with hidden meanings that you may have missed in the first 40 or so viewings. So Robocop especially. So look, we haven't really dived into some of the themes in this movie, but the Verhoeven definitely had some pretty lofty ambitions for this film for when he made it. So obviously he was tackling the issues of creeping authoritarianism in America and the exploitable evils of capitalism. I mean, they're pretty major themes for the film. But he's actually on record, Verhoeven, as saying that first and foremost, this film is a riff on the story of Christ. So,
Right.
Gow, you'll have to enliven us. Being the heathen household that we are, I'm not actually up to date with most of the fundamentals, but I'll just try and wing it. But apparently, yeah, and certainly it's how it manifests mostly in the film is right at the end. Murphy's arms go really crucifix wide when he's shot by Boudicca's gang. So that's the first sort of incarnation of Verhoeven, the crazy Dutchy pubes and boobs, saying that he's going to try and exploit this a bit more and align it with the life of Christ. And he's resurrected, and at the end, he's made to look like he's walking on water when he comes over to plunge that steel rod into Boudicca's jugular. So I don't fucking know. Paul Verhoeven could just be taking the piss and going, watch these press monkeys dance. I'm going to throw this in. But no, look, apparently he's definitely gone on record as claiming that is. And look, the themes, pretty interesting subversion and themes do pop up in his other movies, Total Recall and Starship Troopers. So Starship Troopers is pretty much, they're essentially aligning with fascism and a lot of the Nazism and America essentially taking over the world, a la World Police from Team America. So it's and there's a lot of genocidal propaganda, I guess, where these guys are out to rid the universe of these bugs. So, and it's always throwing to that "would you like to know more" aside that he uses when he goes into the ads. So it's a bit of an anachronistic Second World War style of combat that he uses, I guess, to present these themes. So it's certainly, he's not just out there to make a splatter shoot 'em up fest in all of his films. And I think probably Starship Troopers and Robocop are where those themes are most evident. So probably not so much Basic Instinct, where he's back to his boobs and boobs best. But some of the more recent films that I guess you probably didn't really think about what else the director and filmmakers were trying to do. But Groundhog Day. So Harold Ramis and Bill Murray. It's obviously a killer hook with What If You Doomed to Repeat the same day over and over and over again. And that makes for an entertaining premise. And I think most of us just watched the film and enjoyed his arc as he learned to come to terms with that. And I guess that maybe what Ramis has gone on record as saying that he was actually looking at a more Buddhist and existentialist take on the film. So suggesting that in the absence of meaning or purpose, Murray's initially selfish character embraces a selfless worldview, and that's how he comes out the other side and eventually breaks the curse. So I think that's pretty wide open to interpretation. Again, it feels like that's a bit of a post thesis on that particular film, but it's definitely a little bit heavier than the rom-com that I guess the execs pitched that film as, to think that Harold Ramis, RIP, was actually trying to say a bit more. So a couple of other ones. One that I really enjoyed recently, and if you haven't seen Strangles et al., check out Get Out, Jordan Peele's absolute surprise horror hit from a few years ago. So that on the surface, that's just a brilliant film that you just didn't see coming, and he subverts a lot of horror tropes, and I think the acting in there is brilliant. But he was also saying a lot about the African American protagonist and I guess the cultural appropriation themes and modern day enslavement that was aligned to the original course of African Americans becoming a part of America and coming over as part of the slave trade. So he literally makes a fairly unsubtle link when the main character is actually picking cotton and shoving it in his ears in order to avoid the clutches of the white family right at the end. So his overall message is important, but it's hidden under an otherwise brilliant film. So he respects everyone's intelligence, but there's definitely a lot to pick out of that movie if you choose to. So, there's plenty more. I've got three more. I'll be really quick though. So, did you guys see the Pixar movie Soul recently?
Yes.
No.
Gow strangles everyone. Go and check, even if you're not into Pixar movies, go and check out Soul. So I couldn't believe how complex this was for a family film, but you can enjoy it with your kids. But it presents the afterlife in a spiritual way that probably most of us haven't given a lot of thought to. But it's a wannabe jazz musician, Joe Gardner, and he accidentally dies and he finds himself in purgatory and the great before. But long story short, he goes down to Earth again with a soul that he's trying to find a help for. But he basically appreciates the little things in life that he perhaps didn't see when he was struggling through his normal day-to-day life. And it's quite a beautiful film. And he's watching things like a simple leaf falling to ground that they animate in that Pixar way, and it just takes the audience along and captures everything I guess the movie wants to say about perhaps looking more at the great things that we all can enjoy. And yeah, just really, I guess, a lot more depth in that film than you would normally get from the same studio that brings Frozen and the rest of the Pixar movies. So yeah, definitely a YOLO type, you only live once, that the kids like to say, type aha moment in watching Soul. But look, two more really quick ones. Star Wars is apparently really about the Vietnam War.
Right. Okay. I see that.
I don't. George Lucas is apparently on record as saying that he thought the tiny, peaceful Ewoks were like the Viet Cong fighters battling against the might of the American war machine. I don't know. And the Dark Knight's really about the war on terror. So, I guess he thinks that it's no longer clear, I guess, who the bad guy is in that film, where you've got the Joker and Batman's going increasingly off the rails. And there's certainly, Christopher Nolan has said that there's parallels with America's War on Terror that run throughout that film. Fuck, I don't know. I'd have to watch it again to agree with Mr. Nolan. But yeah, just wanted to throw it out there, fellow F-wits, that some of these films that we've all enjoyed just because they're splatterfests, or we could quote them ad nauseum for years and years on end, there was a bit more going on when the authors were creating them.
It'd be interesting to know how many of those were thought up after the fact.
I agree. Yeah. It's
how many people have made a theory about it after watching it?
Yeah.
Definitely some post-rationale going on there. But yeah, food for thought.
Yeah. Speaking of post-rationale, we're now moving into Stan Bush kick-ass credit song. And as we mentioned earlier, it looks like it's a double feature. And we're going to have the G-Man up first, as it was actually his go, and Dan's written one as well. Yeah, what's the name of your song?
Well, we renamed it earlier. It's now called Don't Feel Nothing.
Oh,
it was Don't Feel Sad or Don't Feel Bad.
Now it's Don't Feel Nothing.
Oh, it can be whatever.
I'm interested to hear the tune. I wonder if we've gone back to an old.
No,
it's new.
We're sticking. Yeah,
it's original.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
I did have another tune for this, but I didn't make it work. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of that at the end.
Maybe.
All right, here we go. Don't feel sad. Alex Murphy was on his first day, took Frederickson's spot. He got blown away. Found out first shift, Detroit is no hobby. His car got taken out by Flying Bobby. Will he and Lewis wait for backup? I think not. We see then that Murphy can really take a shot. 8 to the body, the last one to the head. Made it to hospital, but clinically dead. Now Morton's got his chance. He goes in for the kill. Takes on Omni number 2. It's Captain Bogomil. Metro's got a new cop who's supposed to be machine, but he still sees family because he can dream. Don't feel sad because Murphy got shot. Omni just turned him into Robocop. Bodica's gang, don't be believing, but trust me, he's going to get even. Yeah, don't feel sad for the dude in the shop. He's in the fridge now. He's going to stop. Then we hear Bixby Snyder on the TV holla. Yeah, I'll buy that for $1.
Oh, gee, man.
Oh, so much going on there, G.
There's a lot. You covered the whole fucking movie.
I know. I added that. I was trying to add a second chorus, and then that just came out.
That was good. Well done, G. You're underrated.
You're
in many areas.
And underrated.
Overrated.
Okay, Dan. Well, going second is never hard to do, especially at Lake Park. But we will have a crack. Second and seventh.
This one is far less Bernie Taupin-esque. I got me thinking how violent that when Murphy gets shot and gets his hand shot off by the shotgun, and then just thinking when old mate just decides that no, fuck his good arm off. We don't need that. We want to put. Well, we want him to be full cyborg. We've got no use for his real arm. So just made me think that Murphy and the Robocop, you don't need hands to hold you. So. It's a bit more of a love ballad this week. So here we go.
Oh, rock on.
Don't need hands to hold you. The shot rings out. Another one too. Yet another quick burst. The bullets get through. My right hand is gone. How will I wank? Phew, my left one still works. No, wait, it's off with a yank. But as this story unfolds, the point-blank shots to the head. I realize I don't need hands to hold. My wizard can hold on to us instead. Don't need hands to hold you. Our love will survive well below the neck. I don't need hands to hold you. Feel our connection with my pants down instead. I don't need hands to hold you. Just a hole in my robo suit. I don't need hands to hold you. You know what this rhyme's going to be. Our love can still thrive when we robo-root.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Don't need hands to hold you. I love ballad. I love Stan Bush kick-ass credit side.
You know how we talked about there's no extra scene that needed in the movie? That
Yeah.
was
We
a real
need a
that was a real
robo-root.
addition, Morgs. That could be the one.
Oh, God. All right. Well,
I'm going to be singing that all night.
Oh.
Don't need hands to hold you.
fucking hell. All right. Look, let's move while we're still on the up. Let's move into star of the show. We'll start with you, Dan. Who's your MVP of RoboCop?
Oh, look, it's a dead heat for me with Peter Weller and Paul Verhoeven. I think without both of them, this is a very fucking weird movie. It's weird enough with both of them in it. But I think that Weller just went to extremes to make RoboCop an incredible character and such a mainstay, I guess, of our culture and our viewing history from '87. And then Verhoeven, it was just the start of him going off a tear, getting out of pubes and boobs and into the American filmmaking with some absolute monster hits that we love for Total Recall and Starship Troopers, which I'm sure we'll do in the future. So, yeah, dead heat for those two.
Excellent. Well played. G-Man?
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing. Like between the two of them, between Peter Weller and Verhoeven, they've done so well. I mean, Verhoeven has a really good direction in this movie, and Peter Weller does so well, especially as we said as the movie goes on. So I'm going to go with Morgs on that.
Yeah. I thought coming in tonight that I'd be going Miguel Ferrer, Bob Morton. I really like him. I think he's really good, but it is so difficult. I'm going to go 3 from 3 here. I'm going with the two top brasses. I'm going to go with Verhoeven and Weller. It couldn't happen without them. It was great. Okay. Now, seriously, one of the most violent movies I've seen in some time, but a really enjoyable rewatch. And if you love this, what else can we recommend for you to watch? Gow is going to recommend Sixth Sense again because he's not done this. So if you liked RoboCop, Gow's suggesting you watch Sixth Sense. And Dan, what about you?
Yeah,
Hang on.
He wants to retort here.
I was actually going to suggest Wyatt Earp. It's very similar.
Gunfighters. They're gunfighters.
They're gunfighters.
Yeah.
But in that movie, his brothers get killed, not him. But in this movie, he gets killed. So it's very similar.
Yep. Okay. Well, Gow's
And
suggesting.
his partner's Wyatt is Doc Holliday.
Okay. Yep. Excellent. Like Lewis. Yep. I can see the parallels here. So, Dan, what have you got?
Yeah, this one got me thinking about just how violent it was and the practical effects and how gory it was. And I think if you were to go back around 1987, what other films we were watching, there were some really interesting sci-fi films and I guess films that picked up. They were a little different, I guess, than what you would see today, especially with the plethora of comic book films. But one that stood out for me as, if you watch this, you've got to watch this, was actually called Bad Taste, which was
please,
which was Peter Jackson's film. So he made it in New Zealand, in and around Wellington himself, and he made the film for about $25,000 before he showed it to the New Zealand Film Commission. They kicked in another couple of hundred to get it. It's sort of worldwide release. But yeah, just a brilliant, different, interesting film that, whilst not exactly similar themes to Robocop, just an amazing feat of filmmaking, I think, at the time, and launched Peter Jackson onto the world to become the Wepper genius that he is to this day. So yeah, I think I don't know if it's on Plex, but dig it out and go and check it out. You will not be disappointed. Bad Taste.
I'll tell you what, no one who'd seen Bad Taste or Meet the Deedles from Peter Jackson would ever have thought that he would become the guy that he was to helm Lord of the Rings.
He was just a film nerd that just loved the process of film and making stories. And yeah, you're watching a genius born, I guess, with this film. But it's definitely, it's pretty out there, but worth a look.
Okay, well done. I've got a couple because I'm making up for Gow here. So I do have, firstly, is 2012's Dread with Carl Urban and Olivia Thirlby.
So that was the second one.
That was the second one. So
I am the law.
Not Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone and Armand Asante.
Yeah.
But
Terrible.
the Carl Urban, Olivia Thirlby one, which is essentially a remake of the movie The Raid that we have covered here on Born to Watch. It's a great movie. Same dystopian future, same violence. It's a great watch. It's great fun. Well worth it. So catch that one. Another one, which is, one is a Paul Verhoeven movie. I'll just get out of the way. Total Recall. So this would be a great double feature with Total Recall. But the other one, which is another Schwarzenegger flick, is The Running Man.
Oh, I was going to say The Running Man.
Yeah. So I think this is probably more aligned with The Running Man than any other movie. It's great. It's the whole, again, it's OCP. It's the consumerism. It's businesses taking over the world. It's everything. It's great. I love The Running Man. We will cover it on this podcast for sure. It's a great film and a great book, actually. Stephen King book.
I got one.
Good choice. Both good
what
calls.
What about Demolition Man? Sly.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes.
It's got the partner. Who's got the female partner in there. It's a bit. They go into the future. It's he's chasing.
It's a good
the bad
movie.
guys.
I watched it not long ago.
Movie. It's very much similar to that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. So that's actually a good one.
Well done, Gow.
Yeah, you guys can get fucked. That was good.
Gow said the fuck word. It doesn't happen very often. Okay, well done. Now we're going to move into the rank bank. This is where stuff gets serious. We're going to rate it out of 5. And I have got a few things here to choose from. It was hard, this one, actually, because it all revolved around people just being killed. But I've got Death Spikes, Leaving Bitches, Targeting Systems, Incredible Game Show Hosts, and Toxic Avengers are the 5 I have. Do anyone else have anything?
What about 6000 XUX?
Oh, actually,
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
The 6000
SUX.
The 6000 sucks.
Yeah. Okay. So good one. Good one, Dan. So then we're going to start with you up there on the land, Daniel. And how many 6000 SUXs are you going to give The Running Man?
It's Running Man. Wow. I'll give The Running Man 5. But we haven't seen that.
Hey, let's start this. Let's start that again. How many 6000 XUXs?
Hold on.
Fucking hell.
Is that going on Instagram?
Probably.
That has to go on Instagram. If I'm on Instagram, you're on Instagram.
How many 6000 SUXs are you giving Robocop?
Yeah, I haven't seen this for ages. I thoroughly enjoyed this reviewing. I think it's a great film. It's a snapshot in time. It's Rick's 1987 to me. I'm going to give it 3.5 6000 XUXs, and won't be Marie Kondoing it, but probably won't see it again for some time.
Okay, what about you, G-Man?
I'm pretty much on board with that. It was good. It was a good rewatch. I didn't mind it. It is definitely a time capsule movie. It was 87. Fun flick to watch. Could certainly watch it again. thought the start, didn't think the acting at the start was very good with the gang, but apart from that, I thought, you know, the more you watch it again, the more you remember why you like it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it 3.75.
Gee, Gow, you've been rough the last few weeks and given some pretty low scores. 3.75 is pretty good. And I'm giving you the tip that I am with you with that. I'm giving this 3.75, 6,000 SUXs. And we're going to go across to you. I'm just going to clip here and go.
All right, so we're doing RoboCop or Running Man?
We'll do Robocop this time. And it is.
All right. So coming in at 3.67, 6,000 SUXs, it is equal with Avatar at 3.67
Scowls.
Nice demo. Right above Major League at 3.58 pissed on contracts. And below, there's something about Mary with 3.68 Franks and Beans. So 0.01. Something about Mary's in there. So that brings us into 24th spot.
Right in the middle. Well,
Right
sort of in the middle, middle-ish, bottom middle, if that's a thing. But I can't believe
semi-bottom middle.
So, can you believe that we've ranked RoboCop above Tombstone?
It's above Major League.
It's above some good movies, man.
It's above Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, well, I can get that. I'll watch RoboCop before I watch Catch Me If You Can again. That's for sure.
Yeah, but below Step Brothers, Predator, Beverly Hills Cop.
No, it's in good. It's in good. I don't know what I'm fucking saying here. All right.
Instagram's getting a workout.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Okay, guys. What are we watching? I'm going to start with you, G-Man.
The Last of Us.
Episode 5 was excellent.
Yeah, I haven't. And then you're saying there's another one out. It's not tonight because it came out early, so it's going to be
next week. We'll wait till next week.
Yeah, but wow, really good episode again. Another gripping one.
Yeah, what about the bloater, the big fella at the end?
Yeah,
just ripping the head.
Yeah, that was good. I don't want to.
Have you watched it yet, Dan?
I don't want to give too much away because
no, it's brilliant. Yeah, no, I'm the same. That's what I've been
I know a lot of
week.
watchers may not have watched it yet, so I don't want to give too much away. But it is another cracking episode that leaves us sitting again. I
think this is the best episode we've had. I really enjoyed the one with Bill and Frank, but I think in terms of the actual progressing the story and seeing what the infected are like, this was the best one by far. Yeah, it was excellent. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, same. I can't think of anything else I've been watching. The Last of Us is definitely. I'm sure I've checked out other things, but The Last of Us is what is top of mind for me. So yeah, check it out, F-Wits. It's excellent.
Yeah, it's great. I'm obviously watching that. I also took Isabel to see Titanic in 3D yesterday at the movies for Valentine's Day. A bit of a daddy-daughter date. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, I hadn't seen it in the cinema. It's a long movie. Again, no pisses.
Oof.
I've become the Herb Elliott of long movies. No pisses. But guys, it's a limited release, and if you've not seen Titanic in the cinema, they've redone it in 3D, and it's excellent. I really enjoyed it. James Cameron is just a absolute freak. How he can make anyone enjoy a love story about the Titanic is beyond me, but he did it, and it did scoop the pool with 11 Oscars. All right, another great episode of Born to Watch is in the bag, and now we're going to talk about what we're going to do for next week and get you guys prepped and ready, and we're going to go into the 80s. What are we doing, Gow? Tell me.
We're going to watch a really funny old 80s movie, Can't Buy Me Love.
Patrick Dempsey. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. So we thought, why not? Let's revisit it.
One of his earlier funny movies, but this is going to be a cracker. I'm looking forward to watching this. I haven't watched this in a long time.
This is going to be Damo numbers for me, I think.
Yeah.
This will be Damo numbers.
Yep. It's going to be good. And shout out to Joshy G, who's been a trooper watching movies with me. He's going to like this one. I'm going to introduce him to it.
Definitely.
You'll love this one, buddy.
Yeah, he will. Well done, Joshy. I hope you've recovered from watching Robocop with your dad. Just on that, was Chrissy in the house when this was happening?
What do you mean?
Okay, she doesn't listen to this anyway, so it doesn't matter. And if she does, she doesn't get this deep into it.
It was the prime version, so.
Yeah, all right. Excellent. Okay. Well, that's it from us for this week. And next week it is Can't Buy Me Love. I hope that you did enjoy Robocop as much as we did. So for now, catch you later.
See you, everybody.
Don't need hands to hold you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Born to Watch. To join us on our journey into some of our favourite movies of all time, you can find us on all good podcast networks like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and share with your friends.